What's up, guys? Welcome to Blue Presents podcast where I discuss all things music. And today, my guest is Mark Gelinas, formerly of Seconds from Disaster and currently of his project MG, man. And we talk about how his relationship with his daughter has kind of helped him with his music project, as well as we talk about him taking accountability for things going on in his life, as well as what happened with Seconds from Disaster. And we talk about his new solo project and him working with the homie Brandon Cooper, man. But before we get started, man, there's a podcast I want to tell you guys about. The Steam Machine podcast, hosted by Ryan and Dalton, man. And join Ryan and Dalton as they play through 729 plus games. Each game is chosen at random by their companion robot, Steamy, man. And you can check these guys out on Facebook, at the Steam Machine podcast, and as well as on Twitter at Steam_podcast. Shout out to those guys, man. Check those guys out. They're awesome. And before we get started, man, also listen to my good friend AJ Pelletier tell you about his podcast, The Roads We've Traveled.
Hey everyone, AJ Pelletier here, and I'm here to talk to you about my podcast, The Roads We've Traveled. It's a podcast where every week I talk to guests and friends from music, art, comedy, and more about their journeys through life, their struggles, their joys, and everything in between. You also get to know a little bit more about me and my journey as well. So if you like podcasts about good conversations about life, or maybe you're just looking to relate to somebody about some things you may be going through as well, then The Roads We've Traveled is the podcast for you. Subscribe to us today on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you guys get your podcasts from. Check us out and subscribe to us on YouTube. And check us out at facebook.com/Roads We've Traveled podcast. All right, everyone. Thanks.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Blue Presents a podcast where I discuss all things music. And today, my guest, I'm going to get this one right, Mark Gelinas. Gelinas, yes. Oh, see, I'm already fucking it up, man. This is going to be a great show. That's how you know it's going to be a great show, because I fucked up already. What's going on, Mark?
Nothing much. How you been, Blue?
Dealing with what we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? We were talking a little bit before we got started, just living life, man, taking care of the family, just like you, brother.
Yep.
All right, Mark, so I'm going to hit you with my first question, brother. What are your top 5 artists?
Top 5 artists. Do you want to hear the metal versions, or do you want to hear just in general?
Hey, man, give me whatever you got.
All right, so starting off at number 1, as always, is the infamous Corey Taylor. Gotta love that guy. I mean, he does so much. He has his issues, but, I mean, I grew up on Slipknot, so it's got to be Corey.
Of course.
Then, coming in at number 2, Mr. Chad Gray, but Mudvayne era, because that was just, when Mudvayne came out with the face paint and everything, just blew my mind. I was just like, oh my god, they can still do stuff like this? Man, I just remember that friggin' 4-foot-long blue beard, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, what is that? Number 3 is going to give me some hate, but it's Ivan Moody of Five Finger. He's an animal, but he's also an asshole, and everyone hates him, so it works for me. Mm-hmm. Got to throw Frankie of Amur on there, because his voice has not changed in 2 decades. He's just killing it constantly. And Eminem, of course, Eminem, the angry white boy. Got to throw him on there.
Nothing wrong.
My motivation. He got a lot of those upbeat songs that make you want to just get out there and scream in the streets, fuck everything,
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't disagree with your Ivan Moody, even though a lot of people don't like him. I've always thought he was a great vocalist. I just don't like what Five Finger Punch does, unfortunately, but no. He is a great vocalist.
I get that. Their first CD was great. Their second CD was okay. And then they came out with American Capitalist, and I was just like, what the hell are you guys doing? And then all of a sudden they had that one song where it was I don't know, it sounded like pirates chanting in the back. I think it was Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with them, but there is a reason why people don't necessarily like them as much. So there's a YouTuber that I watch, and he kind of goes in depth and explains that they tap into something that a lot of people don't necessarily agree with, which is tribalism, and their type of dude is that red-blooded American military, probably, based guy who's just into that type of stuff. And I don't think anything's wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of ICP fans. ICP fans are of a particular set of people, and it is what it is. It just what speaks to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I get that.
Yeah, different strokes, different folks, man.
I didn't even know that. You're gonna have to send me a link to this YouTuber because I didn't even.
Yes, the punk rock MBA, man. He explains a lot of things, man. He's a very, very smart, intelligent dude. His name is Fitzy. So shout out to the punk rock MBA. They're awesome.
I'll check them out now.
Yeah, man, for sure. So, Mark, let's talk about you. Let's talk about how did it start for Mark, man? What, you were just talking about how seeing Chad Gray kind of set your mind like, wow, they're doing that. That looks cool. What kind of got you into music, Mark?
Got me music is my old man. My old man's always been playing music, like growing up listening like 80s metal and stuff like that. Like, Black Sabbath, of course, Metallica, early Master of Puppets era. But then, my mother was also like rocking like, hair metal. So I was always around like heavy music from that period. But I gotta say, like, as corny as it sounds, but like my first concert was Kiss.
Oh wow!
And I've been watching Kiss. I've seen them on tour maybe like 6 or 8 times with my old man. Mm-hmm. That whole live music experience, and just like watching how they're bigger than life, and I'm just like, yo, that's amazing. Like they can get on stage, they can do that, they can put out these songs that just connect with people. Like it doesn't matter what kind of mood you're in, and like even at like 9 years old, I felt the vibe. I was just like, yo, I feel so much better being here, and I just always want to capture that moment. Like I love shows, and I just want to capture it all the time, and that's what made me want to be a musician.
Yeah, man, that's powerful stuff, and you can kind of tell. I've seen on your solo page. Some of the artistic views that you've taken with some of your photography and stuff like that, and I can definitely tell you're inspired by those things.
Yeah, I did. Last Saturday was the photo shoot, and that went amazing. I used my 9-year-old daughter as the whole scheme of the thing was supposed to be like my devil on my shoulder, and what better than my little protege, my daughter. Like mm-hmm. She's always there. She's always been helping me out with music, telling me if something sucks or if it's good or not.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome, man. So in speaking with your daughter, might as well bring it up. It was just Father's Day, man. Yep. How do you feel about being an artist and creating music when you have a child? Like, I have children, you have a child. And sometimes I feel like there's certain things about our kids that inspire us to write the music. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. A lot, to be honest. Like, mm-hmm. I'm really going as hard as I am, like, with this solo thing, if it wasn't for her. Like, mm-hmm. like after I quit the last band, I had a conversation with her when I decided to get back into music. If she was okay with it, I had to clear with my boss and make sure she was okay with me, not being there on the weekends and doing shows or dragging mm-hmm. her out shows that she can go to. And, she's constantly a source of inspiration. Like, if I'm stuck on a song that someone sends me and I'm just playing it in my living room over and over again, mm-hmm. a few times, like, I'll just be sitting there writing just to get everything out. And all of a sudden I hear, like, this little, like, she's humming in the background. And I'm just like, what the hell was that? And she's like, oh, it's your song. So she, like, a few times has actually hooked me up with some, like, nice little rhythms and stuff like that. So she's a great inspiration. She loves what her dad does. She loves being a part of it and seeing it happen. So can't knock it.
No, man, that's a beautiful thing, man. It's a strong relationship, especially, who's to say when she gets older, she doesn't get involved in music, and the inspiration came from you, you know what I'm saying? Those times you guys spent together, and you actually taking her input. That's another positive thing, man. That's really beautiful, brother, for real.
I training her on guitar, showing her some guitar stuff. I try. I'm not that good, but I show her what I know. Mm-hmm. And, just like structures, like I get her into poetry, like, with this whole Corona thing. So it's been like all homeschooling basically.
Yeah.
But I remember like the one thing I got really excited about, it was like Poem Day Tuesday or something like that. And I got super excited and I was just like, let's write a little poem together. So like, I'm just sitting there watching her write stuff. She wasn't rhyming that well. So I kind of gave her a little push in the right way, mm-hmm. but just her like imagination, even still at 9, she has like a really great imagination. She just like came up with something that was like, it was ridiculous. It was about ducks going to get a haircut, but it was like, hell, like I'm sitting there laughing my ass off, and we spent like 2 hours just like continuing on this little poem story, turned into like the Odyssey and everything. It was like long, like 2 pages. Like we just had a blast, and I just like love nurturing that side of her. So it's like great. Like she loves that imagination side of music. She loves like being able to like put out her ideas and no one laughs at her because it's what she believes in and what she wants to do. So, you know, it's great. It's beautiful to watch her grow up that way.
Yeah, man, it's a strong positive when you see your kids, you know, have a particular opinion on things that, you know, sometimes maybe a little bit goofy, but also at the same time, you can kind of see the positivity in that worldview if you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Because, okay, she's taking ducks to get her hair cut. You know, it's weird, but I mean, you know, hey, you know, who knows? You know, that duck might need that fresh fade lineup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you need that fade. I mean, everyone needed a haircut during this corona, and like she knew that the ducks needed to get shaped up. I mean,
exactly, bro. They needed that sick lineup. So, and that's beautiful, man. That's awesome. You're fostering that relationship with your daughter, and if you really think about it, you know, music is the epitaph for you to both grow together. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I've connected with so many people over the last couple of years when it comes to music, you included.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just brings a lot of people together. Like, it doesn't matter, like, how shitty of a day you have or what your 9 to 5 is or what your, you know, home status is. It's just like you go to a show or you meet up with a group of people and it's just like you guys connect, and it's just like music is always playing in my life somewhere. Like, it's always in the background. It's always we're talking about music. I mean, it's a great thing to keep people connected and, you know, together. I always thought. I mean, what was that? I think it was Prince or Michael Jackson that came out with a song about music, keeping music people together. Or Music Makes the World Go Round, something like that.
Yeah, you got me on that one, man. I have to do my research on that one because I don't particularly. Yeah,
people together with music, and
yeah,
it's a great philosophy to have. I mean, you know, musicians are just there to like convey a message of their life, or like, you know, the everyday life and everyday struggle of people around them, and certain people can do it, and it's great when they can. So.
No, for real. And you're right about that. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, especially like times like now, man, we definitely need the music, man. We definitely need the music to motivate us to go through another day and trying to figure out, you know, what's changing, what's not changing, what's going to be the same. And even now, as shows are getting ready to start coming back, especially in your area, and I've already seen a few, what that kind of looks like. So, in talking about that, man, how do you feel about, you know, things going forward and what shows are starting to look out? Because if I'm not mistaken, I just saw one for Scene Productions, and they're only allowing like 40 people at a time. So what are your thoughts on that right now?
40 people at a time would be a blessing coming from where I play shows, and it's usually like 20 people. So I'm happy with at least having a cap on it. I mean, that's guaranteed 40 people that have been locked up that want to see a show.
Exactly.
I mean, it just shows that, you know, the scene is not dead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it went away for what, like, we're going on like 5 months now. We haven't had a show since like February or something.
Yeah.
So, you know, the local scene and the people are still there for it. So it's a positive thing. I mean, everyone wants to go out on a Friday or Saturday night and let loose and, you know, have a couple drinks, hang out with their friends, listen to the live bands. And that's great. Like, I love it. But, I mean, the cap is probably put in place for a good reason. Yeah. I mean, you played in Connecticut. Some of these smaller venues, they can barely handle 60 people anyway, so.
True. Yeah, I think there's some good positives for having, you know, shows at the way that they're having them. And it seems like right now the formula is probably going to be about 3 bands a show. That way it doesn't keep people in there too long, which...
That's good, too. I mean, I've also seen a couple bands, I don't know, I can't remember the name of the band, but they actually, last Saturday or Sunday, they may not even be local to Connecticut, they had an outdoor show, which was fantastic. Like, I was just like, how come Connecticut hasn't been throwing, like, more outdoor shows, like festival styles, like, you know, taking up a permit where it's like, you know, you can still keep the 6-foot distance and you can keep wearing the mask and everything, but it's outside, so it's like less, you know, it's less confined, so people aren't like standing on top of each other.
Yeah, and no, I think what it is just some people are kind of nervous about how things are getting started. So there's always going to be that, like, right now I think we're in the testing the waters type phase where everybody's just trying to figure out, maybe this is the formula from now on. Yeah,
and I feel like this is only speaking for me, but I feel like Connecticut, New York, and Mass have been doing a really great job when it comes down to like this quarantining and keeping people away. Because I've seen some stuff. What was it? Florida last week, after like 3 days, was completely shut down again because they like doubled like their corona intake.
Well, they're not shutting down. They're just kind of having increased cases, and it's a little alarming because me and my wife were planning to go to Florida this past May, but obviously with everything going on, we had to cancel.
I could but I mean it's smart. I mean,
yeah.
Connecticut and Mass have some of the lowest values for when it comes to this. I mean, they gotta be doing something right. So I mean, whatever they feel like, whatever these local businesses want to do, I say go for it because it's been helping out a lot, and especially coming from me, I work at Target, so I mean we have a lot of precautions we take and everything. So whatever they say, I mean these couple states have been doing pretty good at it, so might as well just keep it up.
Yeah, man. Stop. The whole slow the curve down or whatever it was before, or flatten the curve. There you go. So. Let's get off of that stuff because that stuff's kind of sad and droopy, and let's get to some other sad shit. Let's talk about your former band, Seconds from Disaster, man. Let's start with talking about how you got into Seconds from Disaster and go from there.
I got into Seconds from Chauncey. He had I kind of egged him on. I kind of nagged him whenever I saw him because, watching Chauncey, I watched Chauncey grow up in the music scene from age, even though we're only a few years apart, but he was always like bigger than life when it came to music. So he one time he finally hit me up after a year or two of me hounding him like, hey, you're gonna do music, he hit me up, he's like, I want to play guitar, he's like, and I need a vocalist, I got a drummer. I was like, all right. So I went down to rehearsal spot A6 in Waterbury. It was Chauncey and O, and they had our first song almost 100% down, To the Wolves. And, I went in there, just started writing with them, and the rest is history from there. We just kept building, we kept adding members. It was a great time. I had a blast writing with them and doing stuff with them. We did a lot with that band that I never thought I'd actually be able to do in local music.
No, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe A6 Studios is where we met, I believe, for the first time.
I met you guys upstairs. You guys were upstairs in that tiny little room, you and Rich and all of them up in that tiny little room. And, we had this bigger room downstairs, and I was just like, I kind of feel bad.
No, it was good for what we needed it for, man. It was good times, man. It makes me miss those days with Pat and Pat Sr. and Rich, and when Brandon joined.
Oh, yeah, Brandon, Mr. Cooper.
Yes, sir.
But friggin' A6 has done a turnaround, dude. They're if you walk in there now, you wouldn't even recognize the place. I've been watching it as it's been happening because even when I wasn't doing music, me and Jeff are still good friends. So I would go down there and, see what's going on and hang out and drink and smoke with them. And then just watching it from what it was to what it is now is mind blowing. You wouldn't even think that it was the same place a year apart. Wow.
That's awesome, man. I miss that place. I miss Jeff. Jeff's such a helpful guy, man. When you need equipment or you need a piece, something to get started, whether it's a microphone or a mic stand, man, Jeff's always there for you to help you get some stuff, man. He's a good guy.
Well, me and Jeff have formed a little relationship. He's been there for me through a lot. I've been there through him for a lot. I know that there's still some humanity in it. He's busting his ass and killing himself for music, for local struggling musicians, and he's still humble about it. He doesn't complain, he doesn't bitch, and he's still there doing it, not getting paid. And it's amazing to see that, a man that's been doing it for so long to still have that heart to be like, no, these musicians need to be heard. I got to put them out there somehow. And whether it's equipment, whether it's a shoulder to cry on, whether it's someone to drink with for the night, he's always there.
No, and that's cool, man. You have relationship ties like that. Once again, we're talking about that relationship between local artists and people who run things like studios or run venues or whatever the case is. Guys like Dwayne from Scene Productions, man. Those guys are always helpful to someone up and coming, Yeah,
they always look out they're not looking out for the bottom line. They're looking for something that's going to make people excited and happy. It doesn't matter what they're going to get paid as long as, it makes some noise and it's good. Yeah,
man, there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm talking about Seconds, man. What happened there, man? It was you guys were here, and it was weird because we, Years of Vengeance, when I was in it, we kind of broke up around the same time-ish. Within that same few months, it seemed like we broke up and then you guys broke up, and I was like, what is going on?
Well, with Seconds, it was more of a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was all on me. I mean, the band would probably be still kicking around if Mark's ego and his bullshit didn't get involved. But I came to a point where it was between this or that, and I had to make a hard decision.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a hard decision. I still have friggin' Seconds from Disaster shit around my room. I still got Seconds stickers places. I still listen to it. I'm still the sole subscriber probably to the Seconds from Disaster Spotify page because I mean, love making music. It always brings me back to a happier time. But at that point in my life, last year, I was in a really dark place. I was involved with persons, I'll say persons, that were not very good for my mental state and were drawing me away. And
Yeah.
I had to walk away. I actually, after that, I vowed I wasn't going to do music again. I quit. Like, I was done.
Yeah. That's rough, man. I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
I'm in a better place now. I'm happier, and I got a better life now. I mean, everyone has to go through struggles to get to somewhere they want to be.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure, man. Because I feel sometimes if we don't have something to overcome, how can we relate to other people and stuff like that, or how can we grow as people? You know what I'm saying? Because you always have to figure. Unfortunate things happen to us all the time. Especially like now. With what's going on in the world, man. I think people need to really sit down and think about, what do I want when this is over? What do I want to execute? What type of person do I want to be going forward? And it seems like, within that year, you've gotten yourself to sit down and really look at yourself and examine who you are as a person and what you want and what you don't want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's been a long road. It's been a lot of, I've faltered. I strayed from where I was trying to do. I still speak up every day. But it's just, you got to take accountability for yourself at one point or another. You can't keep living like I was living like this vocalist rock star. Bands were offering us shows, venues were offering us shows left and right, and that's a point where it's just I was drinking every day. I was drunk at friggin' shows every single night, drunk at rehearsals, and I was just like, I don't like who I'm becoming. I don't like this whole mentality. I felt like a shitty father. That was the one thing that killed me. I was like, I feel like a shitty dad. My daughter's seeing all the bad aspects of this, of what I can be, and like I said, it's not Seconds. It was never Seconds from Disaster's fault. It was all on my own shoulders, and it was a fucked up way of leaving, but it had to have been done, and I still hold a soft spot for all those guys. It'll never go away.
No, for real. Shout out to Chauncey, man. I love that dude, and congratulations on him having his first kid, man. He's a good guy.
He had his first baby girl, too, yeah.
Yeah, man. He's in trouble. He got a baby girl. He's in trouble, man.
He'll be a good dad. He'll be a good dad along with his girl, Heather. They'll do good. They'll do good.
No. I'm just saying he's in trouble in the sense of when you have a little girl, man, you're about to pay for everything you've ever done to your parents, man.
No, I think Chauncey can handle that with grace. I think he'll be all right. I think he'll be good. He'll be able to handle that with grace and be able to walk away from that situations and be like, all right, I'm going to stir you in the right direction here.
Exactly.
Daddy, do you want to go off your own inhibition? Do you want to know who's been there and done that, or no? That's what I love about some fathers, including yourself. We've been there, done that. Listen to me. Do you really want to deal with this, or do you want to go this way?
Exactly, man.
Experience helps out. You want that. You always want that parent or that older family member to be pull you aside and be like, yo, you're screwing up.
Yeah, man, because you got to, man. You got to call kid. As much as, and that's the other thing, too. As much as we can call our kids on our own bullshit, we also got to understand when our kids call us on our bullshit, too, because kids can't do that for you. You know what I'm saying?
My girl does that all the time. She's always calling me on my bullshit. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Just for her own good,
Yeah, my daughter's middle name is calling me on my bullshit. That's something she does on regular, but it is what it is, man, and that's a beautiful thing, man. Once again, we're going back to the whole father thing, man, and that relationship that fosters so many good, positive things, man. And it sounds like it's grounded you, brother. That relationship, man.
She's always been a constant in my life. Me and her mother, we split up years ago. We have a better relationship now than we ever did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, kids do ground you. They do make you realize, all right, it makes you second guess certain things. Like you think you got an idea and you're just like, oh, so I need that nagging feeling of dead in the back of your head. You're just like, all right, I need to be smarter about this. Like, I got to set a good example. Got to be better than that. Which, again, I falter. I screw up constantly. My daughter's right there to be like, Daddy, guess what? And I'm like, fuck, I screwed up again. I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm trying.
Yeah, man. That's good, man. That keeps you in good standing. So,
yeah.
From talking about some positive shit, let's talk about some more positive shit, man. Let's talk about this solo project, man, you got going on. MG, man. I know you're working on a few songs, and I know you're working with that boy, Brandon Cooper, man.
Cooper.
Talk about that experience in working with Brandon Cooper and working with a guy who really gets it.
That motherfucker has been a constant pain in my ass for the longest time. We're going back to Seconds from Disaster. Like, this dude, I walked into the studio the first time. Like, I knew who he was. We played shows together. He came out for shows. Like, we had a good relationship. Walk into the studio, first thing I tell him, I was just like, I don't care if you have to physically abuse me.
Oh, God.
Abuse me. I want that anger and that pain in these vocals, and you better fucking make it happen because you're not just producing or recording. You're, like, engineering now, so make sure it happens. And this dude, like, will straight legit, like, if he doesn't like it, he will talk to you about it and then delete it right there while you're having an argument. He's done that to me.
Because he just doesn't, he wants the best product, and that's the beautiful thing about Brandon. Brandon, he is a hard-nosed guy. He likes what he likes, and if he doesn't like it, he's going to tell you why he doesn't like it, and like you said, in the middle of you guys arguing, he's deleting those vocals, like, try it again.
I'm sitting there, I remember one time, like, we're sitting there, like, he's just like, oh, well, why don't you try this, why don't you try that? So I was just like, that's not how I do it, and, like, we're just arguing back and forth, and he just hits the delete button. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That was like an hour's worth of work, dude. And the second time around, it was a lot better than the first time. So I mean, it me off and got me in that mindset. So,
and it's a good thing, man, because he has a strong vision, and I think that's what you would want out of somebody who is, because we get so close to the music, like us as vocalists, especially, we're working really hard on trying to make sure that when we're doing vocals, we're trying to come out with the best product possible, and sometimes we're like, no, this is how I viewed it in my head. And then you've got somebody like Brandon who's just like, well, I got that you got that in your head, but this is how I got it in my head. And I promise you it's going to be good. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like, he's very imaginative. He has like that outside point. Like he's like on the pulse when it comes to like what people hear, what he feels like you can accomplish, that he'll push you. Like he will push you bad. And, but working with him, every single time I work with him, I always feel like, whenever I leave, like, I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Like, I got the tracks done. They're good. I love them. And, Brandon had his input, and he's, like, shoving me and telling me, do it fucking better. And I love having that relationship with him where, like, he has no boundaries. Like, he feels comfortable enough to be like, no, fuck you, that sucked. Do it the fuck again. Like, I love having that. Like, I've been working with him since Seconds. So, I mean, like, we're going on, like, 2 years I've been working with him. And, he's always been that way, like, constantly. Even in my personal life, if, like, he thinks I'm fucking up in my personal life, if he hears a story, he's like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, seriously, we have to write, you're ruining this shit. And I'm like, all right, like, I'll figure it out.
Oh, man. So, in the project, it seems like you're working on a whole EP. Is that correct?
Yep. We got 3 tracks done 100%, just waiting on the master versions of them, which Brandon is taking his time to make sure that they're perfect.
Yep.
And another 3 songs. One is just going to be a throwaway single, and I got 2 other tracks that are going on EP. One's a softer acoustic one. The last one is going to be like the main track. That one's just called MG, and that one is going to be, I don't know, like that's going to be like that's gonna be it. That's gonna be like my best song I'm ever gonna write. Like I've been sitting on the lyrics for like the past year.
Yeah.
Touched them since I wrote them, and Brandon has the same vision with the song as I on that one. Like we're eye to eye on that, so that one's gonna be amazing. And that one's gonna be like 4 minutes long. It's gonna be intense. It's gonna be cooling. It's gonna be very emotional, but it's gonna be good.
No, that's what's up, man. So Let's talk about this solo project, brother. What does MG mean for you? Besides the initials of your name, what does MG mean for you? What are you going forward in the mindset of, okay, I'm a solo artist and this is what I want this music to represent?
This project, it started off as just me throwing out ideas at a wall, and Brandon was like very, very good with it. Like I sent him lyrics like when I decided to start coming back in music again, and he loved it. I've always had an idea of doing branching off and doing a solo thing. Again, going back to some of the people I look up to, Marilyn Manson, just watching that man do it for so many years. I tried so hard to stay away from making it about me as a person as possible. It's a very personal album. Like, everything I've gone through over the last couple of years is just kind of coming out, and the whole theme of it is like me and all the voices in my head that, that good and that bad side of yourself. And, it's not just about the good and the bad. There's three people in your head. You got the bad ideas, you got the good ideas, and then you got what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. And that's what the entire album's about. Like, I mean, if you actually, the few songs that you've heard starts off with police sirens, shots fired, shots fired.
Yeah.
And the last song ends with a gunshot. I mean, that's what that is all about. It's about getting rid of that bad part of yourself, trying to make amends with that bad part and coming to terms with, like, you're going to fuck up, you're going to do bad things, but you need to be held accountable. Like, you can't blame a bad idea or, like, oh, I was drinking, I was high, it's all down to, like, you made the choice. Like I said, there's three parts of yourself. There's the good side, there's the bad side, and then there's what you're going to do. And this album is about what I'm going to do. It's not about this one said this or that one said this. This is my life. This is what I'm going to do. And just holding accountability at the end of the day. Like, it's about yourself. Like, you did this. Now face it.
Exactly. And once again, you're going back to the accountability part. And that's another thing, man. It sounds like you're growing as a person and growing as an artist, brother.
Yeah, I'm trying. Like, I mean, and the only way I know how to, do it is through music. This is the only safe place I ever had, was just listening to music and putting out music. So I do what I do, and, whether people like it or not, they get offended, they like it, they love it. But at the end of the day, you're not going to forget who I am. You're always going to be like, oh, well, he's an asshole, or he was a great guy. So I've never met anyone who was just like, I don't really care either way. So, and I got a good support system with this. I got a lot of good friends that have been, like, backing me and, like, amping me up on it. So, I mean, it's a good era right now for myself.
Yeah, man, there's nothing wrong with that. The other thing, too, I want to talk to you about, man, is I noticed that you had some Pride stickers and stuff like that made. Talk about that, man. Does that section of people speak to you, or do you vibe with them? You have family members that are gay, straight, or anything like that?
I have a lot of gay and trans family members.
Yeah.
I work at a Target out in Torrington. I have close friends from that place that are gay, bi, trans. It's always affected me. It's always like, whenever someone gets a bad rub in life, like, it always bothers me.
Yeah.
And this is my only way of, like, showing support for that. Like, the gay pride, I'm 100% behind it. Like, everyone should be allowed to be who they are without judgment or being, told, oh, that's wrong, or that and the other. Like, no, like, it's your life. Fuck what everyone else says. I mean, coming from a musician, we're already, like, as vocalists, we're already kind of like outcasts as it is. So why am I going to back on other people that society have branded as the outcast? Like, I mean, that would just be ridiculous. Like, so I support them 100%, like, in the entire thing. And this is my way of just giving back to the community. I've been handing them out for free.
Yeah.
Like, I don't expect to make any money. Like, I don't really care about the money aspect. As long as people at the end of the day are just like, he's a good guy. He has my back, which I've always been very strong on. Like, I will always protect you. I will always be standing by you, no matter what the cost is. If you think you're right and I believe you, I'm right there with you. It doesn't matter.
No, for real. That's a great position to have. A lot of people don't realize, I had two uncles in my life who kind of shaped who I was as a person. And one of my uncles, if he didn't tell you, you wouldn't know he was gay, and unfortunately both of them are no longer with us. But they affected my life so, man. They were good people. They were always very respectful to other people. And then I unfortunately got to see some of the harassment that they had to deal with and just being themselves, and, they had a neighbor that was just any chance he could get. He was just the most disrespectful son of a bitch ever. And he would infuriate me because at first I didn't really understand, as a kid, when you're growing up, you don't really understand what those words mean. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it was just like, okay, it's my Uncle Mark and my Uncle Bill. I don't see anything else. You know what I'm saying? But, between them, they were a gay couple that was extremely intelligent. My uncle used to write, for a paper, and my Uncle Bill was in bonds and stocks and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So they were smart. They gave me a lot of intelligence on how to move my life. And, even growing up, some of our family members had questions on why my mom was letting me hang out with them. You know what I'm saying? And obviously I didn't turn out to be gay, and there's nothing wrong with that. Even if I was to turn out gay, but I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I'm still, but what they gave me was more than straight family members were giving me at the time. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, the way I grew up, I was kind of a black sheep in my family. And to be honest with you, I vibed with my uncles because they were the black sheeps in our family as well too, because they were outcast. Because
growing up, I grew up born and raised Waterbury. Waterbury can be shitty, but it always will be home to me. And, growing up in this area and at the time I grew up, like, it was very diverse. There was no, right or wrong, or you can't do this, you can't do that. Everyone was, it was a big community, and no one ever turned their back on anybody. I mean, Waterbury has changed drastically over the past couple of years. I'm proud of what the city's doing now and trying to accomplish. Mm-hmm. And when it came to, I never really saw anything prejudice towards gay people or anything like that. And I was just like, because no one ever looked at them any different. I mean, what's the point of looking at them different? Just what they do behind closed doors is different. Mm-hmm. You're doing, why does that make a difference? Why? That's their personal life. Why do you care what they're doing? They're happy, you're happy. Their happiness isn't trumping your happiness and make it seem like, you're less happy or you should be offended. So what's the point? Everyone's going to do what they're going to do. I mean, a lot of people don't agree with what I do, but at the same time, it's my life. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you think or what you think I should be doing, and that's just how I looked at it. I mean, growing up with family members that are gay, and I mean, I never really saw. They were very boisterous. They were very outgoing about it, so I never really saw any prejudice towards it. But it was growing up around that, they were so happy, they were so outgoing, they were just proud to be who they are, and that kind of encouraged me to be proud about who I am as a person. So it's kind of they were my heroes going on in life. It's just oh, I can be, this gangly little white kid that paints his nails and wear eyeliner and be cool, and still be happy at the end of the day. I mean, shit, I'm still wearing nail polish at 33 years old, and I'm covered in tattoos, and it's their, I don't want to say it's their fault, but they shaped me into being this person to be happy with who I am.
Okay.
That I got from the whole gay community. Be happy with who you are. I mean, don't change who you are because someone else's idea of it. So
yeah,
good thing to see people get together and be yo, this is who we are. We're here. Deal with it. If you don't then turn the channel. You don't have to look at us.
Yeah, man, true that. And some people just don't get that, but that's once again, it's positivity in the message, man. So real quick, man, before we get out of here, man, I got one more question for you, man. What are you most excited about when it comes to this new project? And is there anything in turning this into a band, or are you working on something people are not seeing coming?
I'm working, this project right here, MG, is going to be huge. I'm taking all stops. It's all on me. Mm-hmm. And I'm taking every chance I can. Half of Torrington is covered in MG stickers as we speak. It's covered in MG stickers as we speak. I keep throwing money at this project. I want it to be as big as I can make it, and if I can't make it any bigger, then I'm going to go to someone who can. I'm not dying with this. This is my thing. Mm-hmm. But if I'm going to turn into a full band or not, that's still up in the air. I haven't quite figured out how to make that happen. Mm-hmm. that's going to be one of the toughies with all the shows opening up, like we mentioned earlier. Like, that's going to be kind of tough because I know people are going to want to see it played out, which would be fun. It'd be great. Finding a band to do so, maybe a little bit difficult because Brandon writes intense and he's great at what he does. But again, do I have other projects? I have 2 other projects. One that is undisclosed, which I haven't even been released as the vocalist for the band yet. And another project that started up with some locals from Torrington, which was supposed to start off as like, a 1-track thing. Again, with everything that's been going on, I want to do a piece for George Floyd. I want to do something like that. As a musician, it bothered me, and the only way I know how to handle it is through music. So I want to do something to help the movement, which has turned into a full-fledged band of, a mesh of like Fever 333, System of a Down, and Rage Against the Machine. I'm not very political. I know nothing about politics, but when I see injustice, I want to speak on it. I felt like for a long time in different bands or stuff like that, I was kind of told, why don't you kind of stay away from that? But now it's like, it's all going to be under MG featuring these guys. So it's on my shoulders now. No one else is going to get offended. I found a bunch of like-minded individuals who are very, have strong opinions about what's happening in the world. So it's a good thing. It's a positive thing. It's going to be different from Mark. It's going to be very uplifting and positive. There's not going to be any like aggression or anger. It may be even a little bit softer. It might be a little bit heavier. Like, we might be going for like the Ghost Inside style of hardcore with, a positive, uplifting message at the end of the day. It comes across as very aggressive. But we're working on that, which is going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, like when it comes to music, I have no signs of slowing up. Like, I have to keep taking every chance, and I've been having a blast doing it so far.
Yeah, man, that's a positive thing, man, and that's cool that you are finding, the situations that are going on in the world as another driving force to continue to make music. And, I get you on the political stuff because, I know in Years of Vengeance I had a couple of what you would call political-ish songs, and even though I was very vague with what I was saying, some of the guys in the band kind of weren't with the message. It's whatever, man. I know everybody's not going to be into particular things, but that's, like I said, it's a positive thing, man. You're writing about what you feel, and you're doing it with like-minded individuals, and that's awesome. So, man, before we get out of here, brother, I'm going to plug these social medias for you, brother, man. We got the YouTube, the Instagram, and the Facebook, all MG Solo CT.
Yep.
All right, man. Yo, for real, like... And if you guys, you can go ahead and add him, man. He's going to be dropping some songs here soon. All of them produced, recorded, engineered by Brandon Cooper, man. And Mark, man, just thank you for being on the show, man. Thank you for talking with me, man. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on, man. This is awesome for me.
Yeah, man. I love it, man. I love it for real, man. So, but anyways, to everyone else, man, be nice to everybody.
Yep. Love each other, and we'll get through all this bullshit.
Hell yeah, brother. Thanks, man.
No problem, man.